Well, oh, geez, I'm going to leave all this in. Welcome to Second Take Movies. This is a podcast where we give everything a second look that, could have sucked. If you can't tell, I'm not Preston, and this episode's going in the garbage. It's me, Jake. Preston is at the beach. And a first of the series, Preston is not in charge of his own podcast, and we're getting canceled and never published, but super special guest, probably the most handsome man in the world, member of the Sunny D Boys gang, and overall good guy, Shane. What's up, dude?
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
I'm going to ask you a stupid question off the bat because I've never asked you this, and I've known you for a while, and I should know. Burks?
Yeah, Burks. Last name, Burks.
I get so paranoid with last names. With Twido.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I have no idea, but
I get a lot of mispronunciations. A lot of people aren't used to the S being on the end of Burks because of like Dooney and Burke, the person.
Yep.
And then the other thing I get is like Burkez. Like when people are trying to sell me something, they're like, "Hey, is Mr. Burkez there?" And I'm like, "Not in this home, he's not." Like,
so speaking of people calling, like Logan gets calls all the time. They're like, "Mr. Logan is the man of the household. Let me ask you this." I'm like, Logan, lean into it. Just tell him you're a guy.
Yeah, man.
Do it. But still working on that. But special episode, man. Waterworld.
Waterworld.
You brought this up, and it was like the stars aligned because this has been on my list of stuff, and I'm not disappointed at all.
Let me tell you, man, the name of the podcast gives it away, right? Second Take. And like, I am always like, when I think of like movies that I grew up watching that people absolutely pile on, Waterworld is like at the top of the list. People pile onto it. And I'm just like, is it me? Like, as a kid, did I not understand like what a good time was? And so, when we talked about doing it, I was like, man, Waterworld's a good one.
I was like, oh shoot, yeah, you did the homework. Like you nailed exactly what this was supposed to be. And it's funny for me, I've never watched this. This was my first real watch. I've seen him pissing in the container at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's it. That was the only like.
I'm impressed that that's the only thing you've managed to see. Like, I'm also a little curious about like what dark corners of the internet you're in that's the one scene you know.
So even worse, my dad coached football. There was a Gatorade salesman that they had a like sales thing. Apparently in the 90s. In the 90s, they had a sales meeting, and this joker walked out with a VHS to give to people because that was marketing.
Yeah,
and that scene was in that marketing clip. So I watched it over and over, and I was like, "What is this? This looks like
a Gatorade movie. Bottle." I never noticed. Was it a Gatorade?
It's not. But it's the same exact. I think it's the same color as lemon lime.
Oh no, that's not the right way to market.
Even better, their market was like, "Don't get dehydrated at sea. Drink this." And I'm like, the dude's peeing lemon lime Gatorade though, so this isn't good.
Maybe 90s marketing was a tad bit tone deaf.
I think so. But you know what? I think so was the palate of everybody watching this. I think watching this now blew my mind. I mean, I love campy 80s, 90s stuff. I don't think this is campy. Yeah. This is just weird in a good way.
It's totally unique. I think the downfall of this movie is that it's so close to being a Mad Max movie. It is so close.
Yeah. To reel it in, again, just to impress Preston that I'm not totally dumb. Tagline: in the future where polar ice caps have melted, the Earth is entirely submerged. A mutated mariner, which, by the way, the Mariner, sick name. I was not ready for the twist, but he fights starvation and outlaws smokers and reluctantly helps a woman and a young child find dry land. I mean, like, yeah, you're right. It's Mad Max on water.
It is.
100%.
It is.
Which Logan's never watched it. She watched it with me. And she was like, this is Mad Max on water. And I said,
yeah.
Which Mad Max? And she was like, the one with the models. And I'm like, have you ever seen the first one? Because it's a little weird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's this to me, the second Mad Max is where it gets really good. The first one, it's good, but dude, it is.
Is the
We'll
second one
probably watch it.
Thunderdome
I
or
think Thunderdome's the second one.
yeah, and then Fury
Uh,
Road is like its
what's their
own
own?
thing. It's Fury Road, of course, is like a cinematic masterpiece or whatever.
So again, welcome to the rabbit holes. And for everyone listening, Shane and I work together. Shane's used to my rabbit holes, so this is probably even worse. What's the dude's name? The guy that made that movie. Why is it leaving me?
Oh man, I don't know who made that movie.
He's whatever. He told his wife. Let me look it up. This is gonna haunt me.
I got you.
This is where Preston's really gonna be like, why didn't you edit all this talking out? I'm like, I don't give a dang. Y'all need to know what it's about. George Miller.
Yeah, of course it was George Miller.
So
yeah,
George Miller got his wife to edit the movie, and she's like, I don't know how to do action. And he said, exactly. If I got anyone else to do it, they'd edit it like a guy, and it'd just be action instead. I don't know. It's a magical movie, but typically we'd give a positive, negative review. I'm really going to mix it up. I'm going to give one review, net middle, with Robert Ebert, who reviews everything. He gave this 2.5 stars, so he's dead middle.
Wow.
I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's kind of funny. His consensus is the same as I think everyone else's. He's like, this movie's nothing but spreadsheets of financial dollars. This movie's way too expensive. It was enjoyable, not worth the dollar amount, which I got to say, he's full of it. Well worth it. I don't know. There's something relaxing of... There's some visual effects in this. There is a lot of crazy stuff.
Effects wise, it definitely did not age well. Especially, did you watch the HD version?
I did. I ended up, so I sent you a link to that free one, and I went, I want to figure this out. Yeah. I'm going to rent it. I don't care.
Same. I did the same thing. I like started it up and I was like, man, this is too fuzzy. And I like went back and I grabbed it off of Apple TV and watched it there.
It was a really fun watch of, again, I know about the movie. I hear people say stuff, so I just take it. And they're like, this movie's way too long. I'm like, no, this is a normal movie nowadays. Kevin Reynolds was the director of this. And I love his movie before this was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, got it. Because I wanted to know, why did Kevin and Costner do this? But I think they started to hate each other over this.
Oh, really?
Costner. Yeah, I think he wanted to direct more. Oof. So he kind of overlapped. But
Kevin Reynolds did Count of Monte Cristo too. Like he's done some hard hitting stuff. Like he's done some good like cinema.
I say yeah. I've actually never watched that, and I don't know. I'm behind the times. I know he did 187.
I don't know.
And the only reason I know he did that is because that's a Census Fail song. So
there you go. Okay.
I don't know the movie. I just know Census Fail.
That brings it all together. Yeah.
This movie starts with James Earl Jones doing a narration over the universe.
I was gonna say, I'm so glad that you said it's James Earl Jones, because I have in my notes here on my phone, the very first note is, hold on, where did it go? Hold on, I have it. It's closed for some reason. Okay, here we go. The very first note that I have is classic 90s movie guy voice. I didn't know it was James Earl Jones though. That's legendary.
I think it was. Sorry, I didn't fact check this. I did, and I'm afraid someone was making a joke. I will say, like, that opening scene, them taking the logo and making it work for the movie, I was in, man. I'm like, dude, no, it wasn't James Earl Jones. I'm sorry.
Was it not?
I fell for it, man.
It
was, I think. We're going to believe it was, Shane. We're not even going to go back. Forget it. The one person listening in Germany, look it up and eat it. But
it was Hal Douglas.
Does that make me racist, by the way? Hold on.
I don't think so. It looks like
Hal Douglas. God, hold on. He did a lot of stuff too, though.
That's what I was going to say. He was the 90s movie voice guy. He has a ton of accreditations. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. The Holiday. Yeah, you ever watched that movie? It's a rom-com.
So. Yeah. I have. Yeah, with Jack Black.
Jack Black is in The Holiday, and Jack Black is in this movie.
What?
Did you catch him?
No, he's not. You're just making stuff up
Yes.
now.
No, Bob. No. All right. Pause. We'll get there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's start this sucker off. Yeah. So we find out the polar ice caps melt. Seamless transition from a movie logo into the movie.
Yep.
Kevin Costner taking a piss and drinking it. Sold.
Yep.
In the movie.
Okay. My note on that is the movie opens up with Kevin Costner taking a leak into a plastic jug. He takes the jug and he pours it into a water filtration doohickey, some type of device, some like pseudoscience thing where if it turns out if you run water through like two jugs in a tube, it's clean when it comes out. So he does that. He he runs the piss through this thing and he drinks it, right? My immediate thought, and I say this out loud, I have it and quote, if he can purify water and there's literally an ocean around him, why is he using pee?
Thank you. So that was like immediately what a plot. I mean,
how did nobody make that suggestion? And I get it, because some people are gonna be like, well, urine has less salt content, or urine has a different composition. And to that I would argue, this is a world where like nothing in the real world matters. Like this is a fictional movie. So
I'm gonna make this really weird. Like you're gonna be like, Jake, like you already deal with me on a daily basis, Shane. After this,
you've drank
really
pee before. Is that what we're going for?
Oh, I have for sure. But that's not where I'm going. I wanted to be a chemist for a long time, younger in life.
All right.
I took AP chemistry in high school. I had the best teacher in the world. This guy just loved teaching, and I had to do a project. My project was never seeing this movie, but knowing that bit. Should I drink piss or should I drink the ocean? That was the title. And I filtered both. Okay. Big taste difference. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right.
So the piss is better.
Well, it's lemon lime. It's.
Yeah, but you're right though. It's I don't know. I guess it's the salt. But I showed this to that guy and couple other people, like, what do you think about this? And like, yeah, you can't distill salt water, but you can distill piss.
And I totally get that.
The piss count is at a high on this right now, so we're good.
It's just like, if you're gonna make a jank fictional device that is just two jugs with a tube, and you're just like, hey, I'm gonna run some water through this jug, it's gonna go through the tube into this jug, and then it's clean. First of all, that's not purifying any amount of pee. No. Second of all, if you're going to that length anyway, just throw some ocean water in it. I don't know. I guess that would remove the plight of the people, right? Like if
but you also
made it to where,
I guess later in the movie, which the only like troublesome part, but thankfully it didn't go there. I was like, oh, dude, you just sold this kid off to get screwed. That guy's been drinking salt
uncomfortable.
Water. Yeah. But we'll get there, I guess. So. Yeah, I mean, like, Kevin Costner's just him. Later you find out and realize he's just diving down himself, collecting stuff to sell. Gets his daggum lime stolen. Dude, I was sold. At this point, when, like, guy starts peddling his hands, I was like, how could anyone hate this movie? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And there's a ride at Universal Studios. I'm going to go see it. I hope it's still open.
Is it really? Like, still?
I think they shut it down finally. I hope not, because I want to see it. Which we're about to enter into, like, what that whole scene is. But, did you ever play Fallout at all?
Yeah, of course. I played them all. Except for 76, because I'm just not, like, I'm not that kind of person.
No, you're normal.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is Fallout on the water now. Like, I'm into this. Dude shows up to this colony or whatever it is. He's like, I got
the
dirt.
Atoll.
Yes. They let him in. I don't know, man. I don't understand how someone could hate this movie at this point. I just don't. Kevin Costner is killing it.
You know what it does and this is one of the reasons I think it gets compared to Mad Max a lot, is because it builds a world like in record time. Like 3 minutes into the movie, you are just like, okay, this is a world where it's just all water. It's dangerous. There are raiders, and there are settlements that are very suspicious of everyone. Like, he pulls up to the atoll and they're just like, no trading. We don't need anything. Go. And like, he has to show them the dirt, which is like diamonds in this world.
Yep.
For them to be like, okay, you can come in, but don't cause any trouble. And like right away, as he enters the settlement, there's like the big bad enforcer, the sheriff of the town, you know, and he comes up to him and he's like, you know who I am? And he's like, I do. And he's like, then you know you best not be causing any trouble. And I'm just like, that is Fallout. Like, that is Fallout.
And like, well, okay, so that whole setup, the whole metal thing, had to be flown in from California to Hawaii.
Whoa.
So I'm like,
Well, you're talking about the atoll?
Yeah. All that
Sheesh.
flew over, built from California to Hawaii.
I get why Eber said that it was a bunch of money, because like that kind of set building has to cost a fortune.
So I mean, like I like to say this at the end, but I think knowing this is one of the most expensive movies ever made, the budget was $175 million in 1995. The box office though is 264.
Okay, see,
So,
I was wondering if it broke even or if it made, and it profited.
People hated it, and like, I'll save some opinions, but he goes to the atoll. He goes to trade with someone. He buys their shelves and buys a tomato plant.
Yeah.
At some point in time, he catches a drink, which I kind of got lost of what they're calling water. Is it nitro water? Or like, there's some clever name. I mean, whatever.
It was named something. Yeah. It was, I know what you're talking about, though.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. He's getting water. And I'm like, oh, dude, these people are getting drunk off water. This is hilarious, man. This movie's crazy.
I think it was nitro water. I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't forget, right? It's because an important thing happens as he's buying the shelves from that lady. The long-haired dude comes up to him and is like, those are some interesting boots you've got. And he has rollerblade boots where the wheels have been removed. It's just a snap-on boot from a rollerblade. And he's like, trade you for them. And Kevin Costner's just like not having it, right? He's just like, no thanks, not interested. And this guy's trying to be like super friendly to him. Like he's obviously something's up his sleeve. And this is our first introduction to like a key antagonist, right? Like this is like, and right away you get skeezy vibes from this guy. You're like, oh, this is a bad guy for sure.
Which I love mid-late 80s movies. Sorry, reading and talking doesn't work for me, man.
No, it's all good, man.
Yeah, the 80s and the 90s. The main bad guy is never your guy. It's always a henchman.
Yeah.
That introduces everything. You hate the henchman, and then you also hate the other guy. Which I'm going to go and bring up another wild fact. A bulk of this movie would not have been this way. So, like, that guy introducing himself, Joss Whedon rewrote parts of the script.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so funny how there's, like, so much prolific, like, icons of cinema involved in this.
It's baffling, man. A lot of money, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess that's true.
I think he did a little bit here. The third end, like the last act of the thirds, really, like most of the stuff is Joss Whedon rewrote it all. But yeah, so you get the boot analysis scene from this guy, in which, like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I love 80s crap. That dude started talking, and I'm like, my guy, I hope you're a wrestler. He's not. I was disappointed. But
he did have that kind of like monologue energy, though, that he like big wrestler energy. He even kind of looked a little bit like a young Ric Flair.
Oh yes, Ric Flair, baby.
Woo!
Shane, look. You ever want to make Matt happy? You just talk about wrestling.
Really?
Especially him and I have this. I don't follow wrestling, but I love Macho Man.
Yeah, I know he's a big Macho Man fan.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. You drop a like, oh yeah, one of them, or
yeah,
cream of the crop. Oh, Sally.
I think my favorite Macho Man quote is perhaps his his most inspirational, where he's like, "Macho Man allows himself to experience every emotion."
One of my favorite is that's not a quote. He went on Arsenio Hall and he
Yeah,
had a suit down the middle was white and black.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Arsenio Hall's like, wow, that's an interesting thing. He goes, oh yeah, white, black, doesn't matter. I'm all about it. Doesn't even matter. I don't even see race. I'm just about it. Like, dude, the cocaine.
I love that he did that on Arsenio Hall's show.
Ah, what a character, man. But
Yeah,
um, this movie took a turn because I didn't understand the Mariner. He's a abomination. He's a mutated. I
he's a
also didn't know this
mutant.
is 2500. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is another 80s, 90s. This is in 2020. No,
That's way in the
2500.
future. It's way in the future.
Homeboys got gills. They all go
Yeah.
crazy.
I have in my notes in all capital letter gills, because that's how they react when they see it. It's like the camp themselves is like, we got a live one, boys. Like everybody starts going nuts, and it's just like it's one of those things that didn't need to be in the movie.
No.
He didn't have to have gills.
No,
but
it was
they were
great.
like, let's do it. Let's do it. And to your point, the 2500 thing, I guess that's their way of saying there was time for some evolution to take place.
So one of the things I love about the movie now, which I don't want to get political ever. I don't want to whatever. I'm just making a comment.
Right.
That whole scene and his character is now being used as a I guess immigrant person. I'm like, no, that's not the point of this thing at all. Y'all are so stupid.
Well, it loses its meaning very quickly. So
Yeah.
like,
yeah, which I love. I love it. It's like, oh,
he
whatever.
has like he is a secluded mutant for all of maybe 10 minutes in the film, because like it is just it's a device that establishes two things. Number one, how he's going to get into a cage, which he gets captured by the town and put in a cage. And number two, how he's going to be able to stay underwater. Like those are the two devices that him being a mutant delivers. But once you have established both of those things, they almost don't mention it again. Like they mention muto like once or twice after. Like that's their derogatory term. They're like, oh, he's a muto. And then that's
they
it.
show him
like it's rarely visited.
Swimming really fast. He goes underwater. Like it's used, but they don't bring it up really.
But you know, one of the things I did like, and I don't know if you noticed this, maybe you did, but the guy who steals his limes is like, hey, I didn't board your vessel. You were down there for a long time. Like that's what he says. And at that point in the movie, you think nothing of it. You're just like, okay,
even
he was down
better,
there for a long time.
He comes up, not inside of it, and was like, a lot of room in the hole. No one's in there.
Yeah. It's like a callback to, because if you think about it, when you learn he's a mutant, you're just like, oh, have they done anything to tell me he was a mutant before? And you're just like, oh, wait, yeah, there was some pretense there.
Which again, this movie rules. Sorry, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Also, I'm gonna bring it up. James Newton Howard did the score, so this movie's the best. Like, James Newton Howard famously did. God, why am I blanking out now?
Pretty Woman.
He may have done.
He did The Dark Knight in 2008. Sixth Sense.
Yeah, The Fugitive. And no, that's not the right thing.
Space Jam, bro. Haywire. Space Jam.
Sixth Sense. I mean, like he's not John Williams. He's not. He is. He's John. Same level league, but
yeah. I mean, I think he's a Grammy Award winner. So I mean,
that whole scene. So like Kevin Costner gets kidnapped or jailed, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Then the smokers, I guess, show up, and that whole fight sequence, dude, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. You got freaking ski-doos doing tricks. You got
they're lowering Kevin Costner, the Mariner. They're lowering him into polluted water to kill him when the smokers attack, and they leave him in his cage, and he's doing the classic RPG trope of being like, hey, let me out, I'll fight, and like nobody's having it, right? There is a scene where one of the smokers gets launched and smacks into the cage like full blast, and it knocks the cage off and he starts sinking into the goop, right? But like that scene where he's just flying towards the cage, I was literally like, oh crap. Like I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, whoa. And it was, you're right, the action was really, really engaging.
I understand why there's a Universal Studios show, because they
You're
pretty much
right.
made a show during this.
It
Go
does
repeat
feel
it.
like a Universal Studios like performance show, like Jaws. You remember how you would go
Yeah.
on the Jaws ride? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like that.
Damn.
My favorite scene during the fight, during the attack, is when they're leaving, and the Mariner harpoons the gunship and begins pivoting the gunship towards Dennis Hopper, who's the big bad,
I
towards
was
his ship.
crying laughing.
My favorite part of this is, first of all, Dennis Hopper is a true treasure. He is just like, he's just fantastic in everything he does. But anyways, Dennis Hopper says, he goes, why is he still shooting? What's his name? And they're like, Chuck. And he's like, Chuck! Chuck! And they're literally yelling Chuck. And then somebody says, I think it's Dennis Hopper, but he's like, maybe he doesn't answer to Chuck. Try Charles. And it's just like, in this moment of like sheer danger, they're just like, maybe we're not calling him the right name.
So here's what I'm going to ask you, because that's in my notes. Do you think that was the script? Or is that...
That's a great question.
There's no, like, I looked it up. No one says anything. No one, but
it does sound like it sounds like an improv line, doesn't it? Like it sounds like something they're like, you know what, let's keep it in. But if you track with Dennis Hopper's character for the rest of the film, that is his energy. His energy is psychopathic wise ass. Like he doesn't take anything serious.
No, he's going to drop a cigarette into his oil tanker.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is 2 years after Super Mario Brothers, where he was King Koopa.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, this guy, he was like, F it. I'm done.
He does not care. But at the same time, I feel like he just wants to have a good time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he did such a good job in this.
Yeah. His villain was like 60% of the best part of this movie. I feel like just ridiculous, stupid radness.
Because I have in my notes here that this was actually, so you're right, it's 2 years before Super Mario Brothers, but it's only 1 year from Speed. And if you do a side-by-side of this villain and how he was in Speed, it's the same character. Like, it's the same character. I think it's just Dennis Hopper. Like, I think it's just him being him. Yeah. And I love it. Like, his energy is just right for what it needs to be for this. Dude, he's been doing movies since 1955. Holy crap.
One thing I love, man, like some of the weird movies we watch on this are just like people doing movies since the 50s and stuff. It is wild. Yeah. Just they've seen the entire thing, and you're going to end your career. Not really end it, but Waterworld's one of your last ones. You rule, man. Go for it.
You're going to be one of the main characters in Gunfight of the OK Corral. And then on the tail end of it all, you're like, I think I can do Waterworld.
Yeah,
hey, who's really fallen down that pit? Robert
I learned
De Niro.
to swim recently.
Robert De Niro's like that, right? Robert De Niro has been in such incredible movies, and like the ones he's doing now, you're just like, Robert, what are you? Come on, man, you're ruining everything.
I've got I think this is like I know this from a friend of a friend of a friend. I'm not trying to show off. This is in the news. Like, you can read this online. Robert De Niro, like, those guys, they want to be their character. Like, he wants to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Some of those actors are gangsters, like that's how they got there. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro did an interview recently being like within 5 years. And he's like, remember that time we did that musical way back in the day? Wasn't that great? You can tell Robert De Niro is just like, no, I want to be a bad man. I want people to think I'm bad. I don't remember that, Al. And he's like, you sang that Puff song. And I'm like, oh, you just ruined credibility. All right.
I mean, I feel like that ship sailed a long time ago. I think
Yeah.
when De Niro did Meet the Fockers, that was the end of it. That
Yeah,
was
it went
like
downhill. You're not
the end
hard
of
anymore.
everything. Yeah. Which, I mean,
No.
I love that movie, but it's just like that's not the energy you give anymore. You're now Robert
No.
De Niro who does funny rom coms, and like it's over.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. He's great, man.
Back to Waterworld for just a second, because I have something in my notes here that we didn't talk about. While he's in the town, before he gets outed as a mutant, a group of people approach him and they go, "Please, we've been breeding our own bloodline forever. We need your seed." And then
Yeah.
they offer him like a girl, and he's like, "No." And that's why they like apprehended him, because he wouldn't like lay with their daughter. And then
So
that's how they found that he had gills. That's
my
insane.
notes are, did they come after him for not screwing somebody?
Right.
You just
Yeah.
confirmed
Well,
it.
the guy
That,
says something. The guy says, "The man's been out at sea that long and doesn't want a woman. Something's not right," and that's why they grab him.
again, Fallout. This is flat out Fallout.
Yeah.
Forget the
It's
Mad
just
Max
so funny.
conspiracy or likeness. Nah. No.
So then they get away, which we're not even mentioning that the
There's a little
girls
girl with a
join
map
them.
tattoo.
Yeah, there's
And
a
there's
little
a
girl with a
creepy,
map tattoo.
creepy dude in a gas balloon runs away.
Gregor, right? Isn't that his name?
I think so.
I think so.
Gregor. Yeah.
He accidentally lets the balloon loose because he's an idiot. And then he's literally flying away and he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." It's just flying to safety.
My notes are like, okay, this movie could have gone two paths. Clearly they went PG-13 and added in these spoofs. And for me, I'm like, dude, go darker. Let's go ahead. Let's
Oh yeah.
let's get it wild. But I don't know, it's fun. So you now got the you already talked about the awesome harpoon shot, which Dennis Hopper loses an eye.
Yep.
That's a running thing the whole time.
Yeah, his eye hops right out.
Oh! Boom!
Here
Man,
all
that
day.
clap is probably terrible. To me, not to me. My wife was like, "This little girl, I hate her. I hate this girl."
The map girl?
Yeah, and I'm
She's like the worst actress I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but this is a trope. Like, it's part of it. But I absolutely love just Kevin Costner's character, the Mariner. Girl's gonna go.
Yeah.
Throwing her over. We're not gonna make it. I'm gonna throw you over too. As a matter of fact.
Literally, and I'm like, "Why did you even take them?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess you needed them. Like they were his key to get out."
I don't mean this, Preston, but let me just tell you straight up, and I said it to my wife, so I don't give a dang. The girl is like, "I'll do it with you to keep me." Drops the net. The camera does not spin around. This movie sucks.
It is like one of those scenes too, because you're right. Up until this moment, everything felt so PG, and then like she kind of like drops her little weird dress thing, and you have that moment where you're like, "Is this about to get real different real fast? Like, is this about to go like real different vibe?" And
I 100% went. That's a butt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You know what? No, he turns her away. They have there's a lot of good scenes that happen here. They have their whole bonding thing. She finds
it's just a relationship montage. Yeah.
Yeah, which it's great. It blurs to me, but
yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I guess we can say their whole thing is they want to find dry land, and he tells her, "I know where it is." Which later you find out his dry land versus the girls.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Thank you. I just put that together because up until this point, I was like, "Why did he lie to her, though?" But it's that he didn't lie to her. It's just that he knew something she didn't know at the time, which we'll get into later. But
So all this took a little bit of digging, and then I realized I didn't look it up right. All this is happening above, Tibet. This is all Tibet area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the Greenland is Mount Everest.
I figured it was Mount Everest because of the elevation. Yeah.
I don't know. They thought stuff through in this movie. This seems like a crazy movie. A lot of cocaine, probably. It works.
I like that they used like a plot point to when he throws the little girl off the water, because that's a whole, so we're skipping an important part, right?
Yeah.
So the girls piss him off, right? By the little girl pisses him off by using his crayons, right? Which he's a full grown man and she's using his crayons. So he throws her off of the
Oh,
boat.
dude, even more petty than that. He's like, I don't want you drawing on my boat. I got it how I want it. You put stuff on my boat. I don't like it. You're out of here. Chunks that girl. Dude, I thought she died. And I was like, this movie rules.
He throws like an 8-year-old girl just off of his boat. He's just like, yeah, you mess with my crayons. See ya. He goes and gets her because she can't swim, right? That is a plot that they did this on purpose, which is like, give this movie all the crap you want, but they did this on purpose. Threw her off the boat.
I didn't think it was anything.
I'm talking to everybody else. Like everybody craps on this movie, but he throws her off the boat. She says, she can't swim. What are you doing? And then like, she goes and gets her. Helen, who's the older woman, she goes and gets her. And then he lets them back up on the boat. And then the little girl does something Helen does something to piss him off. And he pushes her down and he chops her hair off.
Because earlier, the little girl's a potty mouth. Or not potty mouth. And she's like, Helen thinks you'd be a lot prettier if you cut your hair. So he cuts her dang hair.
He does that, He just chops her hair off. And then the little girl says something again, because she's a wise ass, right? She says something again. And then the most like 90s feeling scene, he looks up at her and there's a cut. And then the scene opens and it's just both of those girls with the worst haircut ever, just like looking pissed as can be.
I have a note, and I told again, I pretty much say every ridiculous thing to my wife. It doesn't matter. I'm like, well, this movie sucks. She's not hot anymore. Like, what? What'd y'all do?
Yo,
so
Helen,
funny.
that's Jean Triplehorn. And I don't know her from anything, but her jawline is immaculate. Do I?
Oh, no, you don't. I'm sorry. I've been watching The Mentalist, and there's a girl from there.
I don't know that one at all.
You probably only know her from...
I looked at her filmography, dude, and I don't think I know any of these. I've never seen that.
Yeah. But her jawline is perfect.
Yeah, she's got a fantastic jawline. Anyways, back to my point, right? Throws the little girl in the water.
Dope.
Throws the little girl in the water, and she's like, she can't swim. All that happens, and at the end of this whole little montage of scenes, he's teaching her how to swim, and that's what brings them all together.
Yep. But before that,
he almost auctions them off.
But even before that, I'll drop the heat here. So he drops his sails so he can catch up. Gets them on board. They're all like, we hate you. And there's an airplane flying after them to shoot at them.
Right.
Jack Black is the pilot.
He pilots the airplane?
Yeah, look it up. Go look look it up, see the picture. Because I knew it was coming because Logan goes, oh, Jack Black was in this movie. And I'm like, what? No, he wasn't. Jack Black is the pilot.
Him. He's in a couple of scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, he is in it, man. Like,
wow, how did I not know that? Oh, dude.
You know what? You hear his voice.
Does it look like Jack Black?
No, but it's crazy. Like, crazy now, not then. He talks before you see him. And I went, oh, God, Jack Black. I mean, like, how he talks, it's like, yeah, Kev, dog. I can't do a Jack Black, but it's the same cadence that he does.
Yeah. What are we doing, Cage?
Yeah, same deal.
Wow. And
yeah, you're right. Before they're all best friends, you get the we're going to auction you off to. That guy's a huge actor, too. I can't remember who he is. Who is that psychopath that they stroll up to? Because he's in a lot of stuff. I don't know how to look him up, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I mean, like, there's a lot of people in this movie that end up being very prolific in their acting careers.
Yeah, it's I know this guy's name.
I just wish I could remember what else he's
Is
been in.
it Kim Coates?
I think it's Kim Coates. It is Kim Coates.
Kim Coates. He was in Black Hawk Down.
Sons of Anarchy, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Van Helsing, the TV show, which that doesn't say a lot.
No.
Also, sorry, I haven't watched it. I shouldn't say that. I have no idea.
He's in Bad Blood. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. He's in Godless. If you haven't seen Godless, it's awesome. Yeah.
I wish I could figure out exactly where Assault in Precinct 13.
Yeah.
That.
He's also in Lethal Tender with Gary Busey.
Oh, Gary Busey. I love him so much. Have you ever seen Bulletproof?
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to send you a clip after this, and you're just going to be like, yeah, thanks. You don't need to watch the movie. Trust me, you don't. There are some quotes that will make you crap your pants.
Those are my favorite ones. I got a lot of pants changes in this house.
So, Black Hawk Down, again, rabbit hole. Fantastic movie. It's one of my favorite. One of the guys in that movie, which I'm not going to say who, like that real life guy.
Okay.
Taught at my high school.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I made the connection and asked him, I said, hey, were you in Black Hawk? Like, was that you? And he went, don't talk to me about that ever again. And he said, I'm not doing this. And he said, if you have questions, hold them, put them in a bag and pop it. And if you have more after that, go kill yourself.
Whoa.
And I was like,
what?
Okay. Like, both my parents are teachers. So like I was always there. And the next day he went, hey, I'm really sorry about what I said. Don't, he said, Jake, you got to understand that I've seen some things, experienced things I never want to live again. And a movie came out where everyone saw what happened and I have to live it. Okay. Got it.
That's super
intense.
That guy's
hardcore, man. That's all. Just
I feel like, first of all, I feel like you have so many connections like that, but I only have one and I want to share it with you.
Hit me.
Similar to your situation, I know this celebrity from school, and this is also going to be something I need to tell Matt because our friend Matt loves wrestling. One of my teachers in middle school was a
hold on, is this Billy Madison?
Nope.
Okay.
She was very attractive, right? And she was like the teacher that all the kids would be like, yeah, we want to be in her school. Well, then she like left one day and didn't come back. And then a few weeks later, we found out that she was on the WWE, and it's Michelle McCool. She was my middle school like math teacher in middle school, and she like went and tried out and like got selected to be in the WWE.
Awesome.
And so that's like the only thing that I have even close to those type of connections. But yeah, way down a rabbit hole at this point. She wasn't even in Waterworld.
She could have been. Here's the secret. I think celebrities and people of wild stories escape to South Carolina. Like nothing's in South Carolina. There's nothing that people Hootie and the Blowfish are from here. That's it, man. Like, so if you want to escape life, like Danny McBride lives in Charleston. Yeah, like I don't know. So I think that's why I have all these weird connections of people like escaping life because who goes to South Carolina but rednecks and cokeheads?
You think it's like the Celebrity Witness Protection Program?
100%. 100%. Yeah, Danny McBride. Wow, I can't even talk anymore. Whatever. God. See, you're like Shane, you're catching me after the day of talking and then talking more. It just goes downhill, man.
Danny McBride.
So he almost, prostitutes them. He doesn't prostitute them. He's going to sell them off and.
Yeah. So to catch everybody up, right? Like like in between their bond forming kind of montage, a trader stops by them and is like, hey, I've got a lot of good stuff.
Paper.
The boat's damaged from the plane, right?
Yeah.
So Kevin Costner, who would normally sneer a person like this, decides, hey, I'll deal with you because I need resin. And the guy's like right away, he's like, I don't have resin, but I got a lot of other stuff. And it goes through this terrible little pitfall of him like eventually coming to terms with like, hey, I want to spend some time with the little girl. And Kevin Costner's like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. And he's like, okay, how about the older one? Like he settles for the older one.
Yeah, give me your paper. Sure. 30
Yeah.
minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah. And Kevin Costner, first of all, super protective about coloring on his boat, but he's like, yeah, you can use my lower level. Go ahead. Go down there and do what
I
you
don't
got to
care.
do.
Go splooge it up, bud. I'm not going to clean
What?
it. It's cool. Yeah.
Where's the continuity there?
Blew me away. Well, I don't know. That's maybe my only plot. I don't know. My note of negativity. That's my only of.
It's a weak point in this. It's the weakest point in the movie.
Who cared about this paper, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I guess it's like, it sets up the next bits where they get trapped by the smokers. So he leaves, they raid his ship, they take whatever. And I think he already has them, but eventually they get taken. The girl get taken.
The little girl gets taken.
They run into a trap and they get away from it, which is dope. Sick scene. Both the kid and the lady ruin the boat with them.
Yep.
And they do the like drop down. This is where the CGI gets awful, where they go down and she understands, oh, the water's on top of the world. It's the Waterworld.
First of all, how topical of a scene are we dealing with here, right? Like, this is more secure than the Titan submersible was any day of the week. She goes down in what is essentially a plastic like bubble with just an air pocket in it. They bring them down. If you guys go to YouTube, look up the Waterworld underwater city scene, watch it in HD, because it is the worst offender of a green screen that I've ever seen in my entire life. It is so bad. It's almost nauseous to like watch because the background and the foreground move in such different paces that it's hard to watch. Yeah.
I had to pee so bad and I paused it. Of course, I went and peed and then drank it, but I paused it and was looking at it for a while. The background and the foreground. Oh, no way, dude. Pure hard-blooded, Everclear. Raw? When you drink so much, like, just Everclear and moonshine, you can just drink it.
I guess at that point, it is sterilized coming out, yeah.
So, hey, we're going to do a new segment called Hey, Piss. It's pretty good, right?
Anyway, the segment is, at what point is piss okay to drink?
Out the tap. Never mind. Yeah, I don't want to edit this, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Poor Preston.
No. Hey, if he uploads this is the end of the podcast. He knows it. It's cool. So the little girl gets taken. I'm trying to remember when he sees the National Geographic magazines and
realizes they torch his boat.
Stuff.
Yeah, they torch his boat. So here's the weird thing. Like this is definitely the weakest part of the movie. Like this stretch of scenes is the weakest part of the movie because they torch the boat and take the girl. Kevin Costner and Helen, they dive underwater and he makes out with her to give her air so that they can stay down long enough, right?
Preston, what comes out of his mouth? How does, gills and oxygen out? Is that what fish do? Do they breathe oxygen out?
Are you calling me Preston, or are you going through like a third person situation here?
No, I'm just so used to saying stupid stuff and saying Preston. I'm so sorry, Shane.
No, it's fine. I am essentially Preston today, so it's fine.
Shane, you are Preston now, but now I'm very embarrassed. Well, I have a note that's Ginger Peterson worked in Hawaii, and she was the film's location manager.
Okay.
So she did catering to the construction.
Okay.
And they knew that they're making a movie, and they overcharged by 6 times the normal number. And they all made a lot of money. But she became so hated, she had to move out of Hawaii after it got done.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm looking at Peterson, and Preston's just sticking in my head. But
there it is. It's coming together. I was like, why are we pivoting to this fact? But now that makes sense. Yeah, it's all good. That's it. But so he's making out with her underwater to pass air to her. They leave because I guess they're just like, yeah, that's it. They're dead. And so they leave with the little girl. And this is the weirdest part of the movie. They come back up. The boat's destroyed. They climb onto the wreckage of the boat. And the girl's like, oh no, they took her. Kevin Costner literally says, my boat. Like, He's literally like, listen, my boat's messed up here.
My boat! And he goes,
Then they lay down on the charred wreckage of the boat and they have relations. Then
right.
he wakes up after the charred wreckage relations, which sounds like an awesome band name, by the way.
Yeah, I want to take that. Thank you.
He wakes up after the charred wreckage relations and he goes down into the hull and he finds the only thing that is not torched and ruined is the little piece of paper that the girl drew on with his crayon. And it's the three of them holding hands, which I feel like maybe not enough time had passed for her to have that image of him, but still.
Definitely not.
So that's where he sees the thing. And then he's like, we got to do something. We got to get her back. Right. And then, hey, out from the sky, very convenient. Here's Gregor. And I do want to call out one more continuity error. Gregor, who is an absolute idiot and accidentally flies away at the beginning, has a rope.
Yeah, no way. That dude would not have had a rope. He would have definitely forgotten that. Like, no way.
I have it here. I'm like, if he had a rope to like help people get on the plane, why didn't he just give them a rope when he accidentally took off?
He did. He dropped it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He did.
I don't remember the rope. Okay, cool.
But he dropped it late. So it was even worse.
Oh, yeah, because they run up the tower. Yeah. That's right.
Even worse, he had it and didn't drop it right away. So he takes them to another hideout. Not a hideout, but like all the survivors, but the sheriff is there.
Yep. The sheriff is there.
So to me, this movie does take a dip. But now, oh baby.
That is the end of the dip. You're right. It's at a very low point here because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, how did he find them? And he even says, he's like, smart of you to set your boat on fire so that I would see you. Sir, how are you anywhere nearby? Like, it is a vast ocean.
So the movie tries they try to make sense of it. They're trying to get to dry land, and that's where the map led them.
Yeah. Oh,
which
okay. I guess
that's where they're all trying to go to dry land, which, spoiler alert, they're going the wrong way because it's from underwater. I don't know. This whole logic of that seems weird. I've played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You go beneath, it's the same direction as the middle and the top. This is lies, but
it's weird. The way they do the coordinates is super weird, but it's like these are the survivors and they're all very split, right? They're like, hey, we don't want to go rescue her. And that's when the mariner's like, I don't care if you're going, I'm going to go.
Yeah, let's put these bottles of liquor together from Molotovs. Give me some shotguns. I'm gone. I absolutely love that this movie straight up from here on out, the mariner does everything. I thought they're setting up. They're going to come take them over. No. Sneaks on board. It's
one-man mission. And you're right. From that moment where he sets off to rescue her to the very end of the film, it's just like the movie is on its high. Like it is on its highest peak because it is unbridled action. Like Kevin Costner's scenes are like so cleverly done because he's like I love the scene where he takes out the dudes on the jet skis, right? He's infiltrating a freighter. He dives down, pulls them underwater, and then just keeps them underwater because he's a fish, right?
Oh, dude, this movie's hard. Yeah,
he drowns them. And then he gets on one of the jet skis and puts on their outfit, right? He puts on their like duster coat, which by the way, Fallout. Anyways, he puts on their duster coat, grabs the jet ski, drives the jet ski into the dry dock, and the guy's like, is that you? Go slow, man. Go slow. And then he just jets it and pile drives this guy into like a column. Just kills him. Like that guy's dead. And that's like how the action scene opens. Like it opens with like, by the way, the movie's going to be this from now on. And you're just
it's crazy. That's how it is. You go from there to exposition hell, which I felt like they probably cut scenes of, oh, Dennis Hopper, he's the deacon.
That's true. Dude, I forgot all about these scenes.
Yeah. It's like you show up and then he's like, my people. And now you know why they're the smokers, because he throws cigarettes to everybody. It's like, whoa, there's part of this movie that's just forgotten or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
he Kevin Costner makes his way to the top. Dennis Hopper's like, we know where to go. Go to it. So everyone leaves. They go get not Rose, but they're Rose onto it.
Yeah.
And you get, God, what a sick fight scene, dude. All of it was just flawless.
Yeah.
And the little annoying girl just, he's so mad. He's better than you. He's going to get you.
I feel like they really reined in like you ever seen the Western movie Shane?
Yeah.
Which is the movie that I'm literally named after.
Yep.
You know how the little boy is like, the little boy is just like, he'll come for me. He will. And like, that's what this is. That it's literally just that scene.
I sent you a clip once of a video game of The Town with No Name. And I still get on YouTube sometime, just watch someone play through this game. Don't play it.
Yeah.
It's 20 minutes long. But there's a whole scene, like you can end the game in 2 seconds. It's a point-click adventure from the 90s, and you're a cowboy, steps off, and the kid goes, hey, Shane, nice to see you. And you can click to interact with them, and you go, my name's not Shane, kid. And you shoot him in the head and leave. Game over. Which it's a play off that movie, but...
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. I think that game has its own, like, that game could have its own episode at this point.
That whole fight scene. So he's we skipped some, but like he's negotiating with them. He has a flare, and he's like, "I'll drop it down this thing. I don't give a crap."
Oh, dude, you're missing. Like, it's important to note this, right? So he goes through and he like levels out all the henchmen inside the boat, and as he's doing that, he's literally taking pieces of their gear off of them.
Oh my!
Like
dude,
goggles, like bandoliers, whatever. Right? He decks out in their gear, and he does this on purpose because then he's able to walk across the entire deck while Dennis Hopper is sitting there kind of like wondering what happened. And Dennis Hopper sees him and he's like, who is that? Who's that? He's like, why aren't you rowing? And he just keeps walking towards him because they don't think for a second that it's Kevin Costner. And then he gets there and he takes off the goggles and they're just like, what the hell? Like they're blown away that it's him.
Here's my problem with this movie. I want that the whole movie.
Oh, absolutely, dude. If they could have channeled that energy, it would have been great.
So Kevin Costner was going through a terrible divorce this entire filming process, and that's how he pulled this off. I mean, people listening don't see my air quotes, but the director apparently channeled his inner depression, and that's like apparently from reading. If I say apparently one more time,
apparently,
dude was depressed. Like he's staring off the boat in a lot of these scenes, and he's just
it's real.
Yeah,
you see it. It's real.
it's straight up.
But he's such a 90s action hero in this moment because you're right. He goes to them and he looks up at this balcony. They're like the helm, which is way above where he's at on the deck, and he's like, I just want the girl, and then I'll leave. Like he's like just like stoic action hero from the 90s, and then they're just like, well, I don't think we can do that. And he lights a flare and just holds it over the fuel, like the fuel exhaust for
turning it. Like, no, don't like this. Don't like this.
Yeah. And then Dennis Hopper is just like, I don't think you're going to do it. And then he just goes, really? And he just drops it and blows the boat to smithereens.
Oh, dude, my favorite scene. They keep a guy in the oil tanks in the dark, checks the level, and he goes, thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Have you seen the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Oh, Shane, honestly, that one of the best movies I've watched recently.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. Yeah. But that little star that's in the, like Bowser's pit, it's just him.
Yep.
The star is just like, sweet release.
What do you? All right,
yeah, absolutely.
Not to go down a rabbit hole. So apparently, God, I said it again. Apparently, you ever seen that YouTube video, little kid?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, now I'm a creep, but I'll send it to you probably at some point. It's funny as crap. Illumination's supposed to be making a Zelda movie now.
Yeah, I heard that. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
I think I am too. At first I went, it's not going to be dark enough. Maybe it doesn't need to be. I'm cool. We'll go with it.
Dude, I was so negative, and we're way off track, but I had such negative expectations of the Mario movie because I just didn't see a world where that could have a narrative that would be good enough for a movie, right? Like,
Yeah,
Mario
definitely.
is so cut and dry, right? Like, you're Mario, you need to go save the princess. That's the end. But they nailed it, like
I was blown
absolutely 10
away.
out of 10. And
Yeah.
so if they can do that with Zelda, which first of all, I'm even more critical about because it's such a more important series to me over
Yep.
Mario. So I want them to deliver, but if they do, I'll be very, very pleased.
So Zelda means like I can't beat Tears of the Kingdom. Like I can't make myself finish it. I
You
want
don't
to
want it to
do a
be
lot
over.
more
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should beat it and keep playing it. I'm right at the end, man. Like I know the story. I know, yeah, but
I get it,
a
man.
lot like
I know
this
that feeling.
one, their whole tanker. Which, by the way, what an awesome! You think they're on an island, and then it's an oil tanker. Then it makes sense. Oh,
Yeah.
they're on an Exxon oil tanker. It goes nose up, and I think that Balloon Boy comes and saves them. But
He
then you get
does.
the like awesome, not awesome, but stupid. Movie's over. We're happy. No, the villain. One more try, and the
He
girl
has
falls
three
out. And gets
phases.
the bungee jump.
He's a three-phase boss because he detonates the tanker and then Dennis Hopper grabs her and runs down to a plane that's on the deck, which by the way, I feel like we would have seen when Kevin Costner was walking across the deck
Yeah,
and
it
now
wasn't
there's a
there.
plane there.
I went
But
back
anyways,
several
so
times.
he goes and he takes her to the plane. Kevin Costner in such an epic moment shoots a harpoon to the other side of the thing and then zip lines in front of the plane and basically rips the banana boat, like the landing gear off the plane, and like crashes it into the boat, which bold move because you're trying to save a girl on the plane. Saves her, then they get up into the blimp, and then as they're climbing to the blimp, he's on the rope. Dennis Hopper's there on the rope.
Yep.
And like then they kick him down into the water, and you think, okay, then that's it. Nope,
Phase
that's not
two.
it.
Nope.
Not only has Dennis Hopper survived, but he has coordinated with other survivors a trifold attack. He's like, hey, listen, guys, listen. I'm gonna get that girl off of the blimp, and then I want us all to triangulate her position into the middle of our jet skis, and then I want all three of us to drive towards her, seemingly like we're gonna crush her between our jet skis. And that's when Dennis Hopper invents the bungee jump. Kevin Costner invents the bungee jump just out of nowhere. I don't know where he got that from.
Preston
Grabs
did
her.
it. Preston did it. You're right.
And then they all crash into each other. My question is, what was the alternative? Do you think crashing into a child in 3 jet skis is going to stop you 3 from colliding with each other?
Totally not. They're all high at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
I
But
don't
it's
know.
just like the ending is just, you're right. It's like total 90s movie, like the bad guy keeps coming type thing.
So I lied accidentally. I forgot the beginning urine scene and Kevin Costner on the zip line I'd seen as a kid. I was 5 when this came. To be clear, I was 5 when this came out. I was obsessed with zip lines and grappling hooks. I just like in our house or in our backyard, we had a zip line that my brother and I made, and we rode it, and we kept getting sketchier and sketchier with it. And I just remember seeing this clip, and I was like, "We're gonna go fast, man. We're gonna do this." No,
you gotta do that one day.
Yeah, you can't just do that. But
no, yeah. You would literally like you would like disintegrate upon landing. Like the rate of speed he was coming down, you would just like shred on landing.
I have a note here that Logan kept saying to me. We started this very late into the night, so like brains are dead. And she's like,
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, he invented leggings. Look at them. Look at those leggings. Those are the first
He
leggings.
did have very tight pants on.
Like,
He did
yeah,
have
yeah.
that.
Those are
But
really
it's 2,500. Those aren't the first leggings. Those are the last leggings.
Yeah, that's right. These are not Lululemons. They are done.
Yeah.
Then you get Gregor. The ending of this movie is so funny. Gregor's like, oh, she's upside down and goes, oh, the tattoos are in reversed. The directions We gotta go the other way. All of a sudden, they find land.
Yep. Like
Which
it's
you get.
nothing. Well, there is a scene where they're like, "Oh, it's a long time because they're out of water now." You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
that scene where it's like showing the passing of time, but then they find land, and it's the
Then
most lush green mountainside you can imagine.
you get the bummer of figuring out the girl's from land. Her parents are dead.
Conveniently, they
Yeah.
find her exact parents, laid to rest in a very poetic burial pose.
Then the mariner gets a
Um,
boat. And I'm like, hell yeah. What a guy. Dude, I got a
yeah,
new boat. I'm getting out of here. Later. No, sir. That's the end.
literally that's our sequel. We never got it, but that was our sequel right there.
Supposed to be a second one this year. There, I mean, there
We'll
really
see about
is.
that.
It's not. It's delayed. It's not happening. But
No way.
I got to tell you
Yeah.
one thing that could change this entire movie. Dennis Hopper is the deacon. If you could pick an alternative actor in 1995, who would you think should have played it? It'll blow your mind who it was supposed to be.
Okay, well, my hold on one second. Hold on.
Movies that
Where is
came
it?
out in 1995 is the clue, but
No, so I'm gonna be wrong about this, but I think Alan Rickman would be the choice.
that's good. But no,
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Wow. It would
He
have
had to
changed the
turn it
landscape
down
of this
because
movie.
he can Die Hard with a Vengeance.
He would have been
signed
that
on.
character. He still would have been the same character.
Yeah, that I don't know. Maybe that's the writing. I was like, oh, yeah, like this. Have you ever watched The Spirit?
Yes. Wait,
It's awful.
the superhero movie? It's terrible.
I love it though, but he could have done it. He'd have been fine.
Yeah. He could have definitely done it. You're right.
I give this a 9.2. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
I love
really?
this movie. I loved it. I mean, like,
I was expecting a much lower rating from you, but I'm a solid 9. And it's because I watched this movie. So a little background about me. I don't watch movies very often. Like it's pretty rare that I watch movies, and this is one of those movies that for whatever reason I watched a lot as a kid. Like as when I was younger, I watched this a lot because it was either on TNT or whatever. So when I went back in, when we decided this was the movie we were going to do, I was like, man, I'm going to learn to hate this. Like now that I'm older, I'm going to be like, how did I think this was good?
I was worried when you told me that, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to ruin your childhood, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I already ruined your working career day to day. Let me not ruin your childhood, bud.
Right, exactly. No. I got like 3/4 of the way through past that dip. Like past where it kind of starts to dip. Right when he starts headed towards the boat, it all came back to me. Like it like rushed my cerebrum, and I'm like, oh yeah, this movie's awesome. I remember that. And so like it started, like that scene played out, and I was like, man, it's just as good as I remember. This is a great movie. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid 9.
Well,
for anyone who goes into the movie not expecting it to be a serious movie. Like
yeah.
this movie doesn't take itself seriously. It is very melodramatic and goofy.
Yeah, this is a lot like Running Man to me. I know this is Mad Max on water.
Yeah.
I think Running Man's right. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s. It like you understand you go with the premise. This world, you ride with it.
Yeah.
Also, what I didn't tell you, the only person seriously considered was Samuel L. Jackson, but Lawrence Fishburne was considered.
Wow.
But Gary Busey was the first offer.
No way. Is that true?
It's true.
Gary Busey would have been a solid deacon. He would probably have been better than Dennis Hopper.
Dude, the second we get off this, I'm texting you Captain Bulletproof stuff.
Lay it on me, man.
This is 9-1. For me, like these weirdo kind of movies, if you make your world and you believe in it and you go for it, I'm sold, man. Like I'm in. Like they went all out. There was no doubt. For better or worse.
Are you gonna keep the rhyme? No, you let it go.
Nah. I can't do that, dude. I can't
there was no doubt. They went all out. That's what this movie was all about.
All about shit. Should have done that. God dang it! In this
it's
podcast.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah, solid 9, dude. I loved it. I think if you've never seen it, you should definitely see it.
Yeah, and
it's $3.99. That's a $3.99 rental. Like just grab it.
And like, again, for me, I know a little bit. I heard all the negative stuff and was like, oh, okay, this movie's crazy. Nah, go do it.
Yeah.
Closing segment here is always like, what are you watching right now? What are you up to? So I'll kick you off here. I've just been playing Zelda. I've been playing Zelda. The TV show The Mentalist, I'm trying to finish. Been watching it for way too long. So not a lot, in other words.
This sounds like plenty.
How about you, ma'am? What you doing?
So I'm more of a gamer than anything else. I play games more than I watch movies, more than I consume media.
And you've got a pretty, like, I'll watch some of your clips on YouTube. It's like you've got a pretty solid stuff. So
it's just stuff I upload to send to my friends. But yeah. So we've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 recently, which I'm really into, and I'm really excited for like the seasons.
Did you play any other Diablos, or is this your first one?
I've played every single one.
Okay. Are you mad about Diablo? Like, I remember people are like, Diablo 4 is going to suck. All the people that I knew that played them all. I haven't played hardly any. So
no, I like 4. I think 4 is in a good spot right now to have a good, like, a lasting impression, and that's like the big thing. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't. I'm done doing everything. I don't have anything else to do." And I'm just like, well, it's a seasonal game. It runs off of a seasonal model.
Yeah.
And just like with every game on a seasonal model, if you play it every day for 4 hours, you're going to run out of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So it's just like, give it some time. The first season hasn't even dropped yet. So I'm excited for the first season. Whether or not that means that I'll stay excited and play it forever, we'll see. It just really depends. I like games with a seasonal model because I'm a big Destiny 2 player, and that runs off of a big seasonal model. So I like games like that. So Diablo 4, I'm pretty interested to see where it goes. I'm also playing the new Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely love it.
How's the gameplay on that? So, and I say that
gameplay's great.
I play like Final Fantasy Tactics are my favorite.
Nothing like that. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite Final Fantasy game. War of the Lions is my favorite.
Is it
16 it's an action RPG. So like you fight right then and there. It's also totally atypical from any type of Final Fantasy game that you don't have a party. You're one character. There's not a lot of RPG elements. This really shouldn't have been a mainline Final Fantasy game, but I feel like they budgeted it so much that they're like, we have to call it a mainline because we spent so much money on it. But it's phenomenal. The story's great. The graphics are great. Gameplay's great. I'm really enjoying it. All of my friends are too. So we're really enjoying that. And then in terms of movies, I'm chasing after finishing John Wick 4. I'm like 3/4 of the way through and I need to finish it. I haven't yet. So that's the other thing going on with movies. And then, you know me, I build Gundam. I've got like a ton of Gundam stuff behind me here.
God, yeah, sometimes I wish we never met, but I'm very happy because I need to finish some. And I've got more, I'm like you, I've got boxes where I'm like, oh, I need to do this, man. I need to do this.
I wish I could show you the boxes that are over here.
I don't even see them because it'll make me go buy more.
But my buddies and I, so that's a problem that a lot of people have, right? It's like, hey, we have too many kits and we don't have enough time to build them. So we just set up this thing where every Tuesday night we're going to do a remote build day where we all just hop on a video call and we just build remotely.
That's sweet.
Just hang out. You know what I mean? Because that's how you get through it. It's like if you can talk to people and hang out. So yeah, let me know if you want to join that, man. Tuesday nights, 8:00. Well, 9:00 your time.
Oh, happily. So
man.
I'll give you this nerdy bit. So they're not competitors. Like, I was a Dragon Quest guy, not Final Fantasy.
Love Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest 8 might be the greatest game ever made.
All right, so play Dragon Quest 11.
The voice acting, there's a British, I can't remember his name right now, but he always goes, "Cool, blimey," and it's ridiculous. But I also hate JRPGs. Like the grind, it gets old. I'm there for it, but I don't want to grind all day, every day.
I am the same way, but it's really hard to get away from that.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's
and
like
I
such
say
a
that
trope.
while, like, in Zelda, I'm over here just trying to kill trolls or Hinox to get toenails. Like it's the same thing. So
No, I glitched that stuff, man. I duplicated all that stuff.
I accidentally upgraded
That
or
happens,
updated.
dude. It happens.
I was
Yeah.
so mad, dude. I was living the life fantastic, but
Yeah, it's
well,
rough.
Preston. Oh my gosh, I called you Preston again because I'm looking at Peterson.
Hey, man. It's good to be here as usual. Another
No, you know
week
what I
with
should
me and
do?
you.
I should just say Matt. From now on, you're Matt.
That's what a lot of people do, right? Like they mistake both of us for our coworker Matt.
God. All right, let me close my notes so I can actually talk. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah,
Shane,
no
what you got?
problem.
Where can we find you? Give me an ad for yourself. Tell me something sweet. I don't know.
Oh boy, I don't know.
All right.
If you wanna watch some of my stuff on YouTube, feel free. It's Shane Speaks on YouTube. It's just really stupid clips of video games, but I think they're funny. But they're not super serious yet. But we'll get there one day. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, Dennis. I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Hey, thanks, Beamerheimer. You can tell like how how dumb I talk and how much I have to think about. Like, what am I about to say? Closing this thing out, it's like, all right, Preston, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Preston, as usual. No, it's all good, man.
Hey, look, Google search some stuff for us if you got anything. I think we always talk about drop whatever movies you want to watch. But for me, more importantly, send weird pictures to our Instagram, send weird comments. Preston will love them. He will not be mad. The weirdest thing you can do, send, whatever, unfiltered. But we'll be back next week with something.
Pure
Shane,
piss.
I hope you're back again. I'm sure we'll grab you, especially when John Wick 4. If we ever go through the John Wicks,
yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know.
But yeah, thanks again, Shane. Hey, for everybody else, go crap your pants. Later.